Hi, Catherine. My name is Susie Lander, and this is in response to your video forum post 2, week 6. I really enjoyed all the information you shared. It was shared in such a concise and great manner that it was so great to learn and understand from your state of North Carolina. A lot of the information you shared was honestly very close to the stuff that I learned. I'm from the state of Arkansas, but I had a lot of trouble gaining information from my state, and so I used a border state of Texas. I actually know some people who practice counseling down there, and so I used Texas's website to gain some information about their counselors and the things that they have had the most trouble and the most things enforcements and actions taken against them as counselors. Surprisingly, we have a lot of the same. I focused mainly on the top 2 that I found off the list, which was so long. There was a large list of just a lot of different things. But I noticed that there were 2 that kept showing up the most. The top 2 that I found were dual relationships, just like yours. Now, some of those they were broken up a little bit differently, but they always came back to some type of relationship, and most of those were romantic or sexual in some way. And then the other thing that kind of fit into one of the things that you talked about was that a lot of the other disciplinary actions had to do with supervisors and just, not turning in supervision forms correctly, supervising with not having certifications to be a supervisor, not doing the records correctly, not doing the forms correctly, and different things like that. Which kind of lined up with yours. Yours had to do with falsifying some records and some things as far as supervision was concerned, or falsifying training, which that wasn't one of the main ones, but I did see that show up some. I heard you mention records, which kind of interwove a little bit with some of mine. I liked that you shared the penalties. I didn't do a good job of that, and so I liked that you shared the penalties for those. I agree with your reaction. Mine also was shock. I expected to see some of the things as far as, I'm not sure honestly what I expected to see. I was a little bit shocked to find the ones about the records and the supervision and things like that, because I guess my first thought was, those are simple things, why are you not doing them? But you brought a great point as far as maybe that's because they are struggling to keep up and struggling with self-care, and so maybe some self-care things and recognizing their impairments, just like we read in C2G would help them, or the code of C2G of the Code of Ethics. And then also my second reaction was also shock as well, about the dual relationships and romantic relationships, because I also think I think that some of that could be avoided by self-care and by having, a supervisor, someone that you are accountable to, and by, taking breaks and taking care of yourself and making sure that your relationships are in the right order and just taking a breather from the job. But at the same time, I just think, those are lines that, we are hearing of already in our masters, that we have to guard ourselves against. And so if you know those things are going to creep up and be an issue in a counseling and client relationship, then how could you let those happen? And how could you violate the trust of a person that you're trying to help? And so I found that very frustrating. I wanted to let you know that the information that I found from the American Counseling Association in 2014, and that was the Code of Ethics, and it was retrieved from the Code of Ethics um, especially the counseling website, which I will put on my references, and then from the Texas Department of State Health Services, which was 2019, from the Texas State Board of Examiners for Professional Counseling and their enforcement actions, and I'll put that website on our references as well. But I just appreciate you sharing your information and allowing me to see some of the things that we share that are alike, and letting me learn from you. And I don't have the answer to your question, but I thought it was a great question, and so I'm interested to figure out what answers you found out. Thank you so much.